Good evening, everyone. It is 5:31, so I'm going to call the county board meeting to order. Before we get started with the invocation, I am going to ask for a moment of silence. We lost two community members yesterday. The first is from the Sheriff's Merit Commission. It is with deep sadness that we share the passing of member Tom Jefferson on November 12th, 2025. Mr. Jefferson was an original appointee to the commission at its establishment in 1984 and a dedicated member for more than 40 years of distinguished service to the county. He most recently served as the chair of the commission, a role in which he provided steady leadership, integrity, and unwavering commitment to the sheriff's office and our community. We extend our sincere gratitude for his decades of service and offer our heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, and colleagues during this difficult time. Yesterday, we also lost Father Doug Hennessy. He was a local Catholic priest known for kindness and his work in the civil rights era, with half a century of service to the people of Central Illinois. He was the pastor of Holy Trinity Catholic Church for a decade and preferred to be known as Father Doug. He did serve parishes here in Bloomington, also Danville, Urbana, Macomb, and Peoria. Again, we also want to extend condolences to his loved ones, family and friends, for his excellent service to the county. And so if we can take a moment of silence for these two. Thank you. For the invocation tonight, the month of November has been a time to pause and give thanks for generations. As we finish the harvest and settle in for harsh winter months, I am grateful for the opportunity that we come together, for the voices and perspectives that enrich our work, and for the shared commitment to serve our community. I'm grateful for the time, energy, and dedication each person brings to this space. May our discussions be guided by respect, wisdom, and a spirit of cooperation. Let gratitude remind us of the progress we've made, and may hope inspire the steps we take next. Abby Willow wrote the following piece called "We Meet to Serve." We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. May we act wisely and well. And for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll.
Eric Hansen,
Present.
Val Lehman,
Present.
Brian Loeffler, Mike O'Neill, Adam Reeves, Jim Rogal,
Here.
Natalie Roseman Mendoza,
Present.
Jeff Tompkins,
Here.
Andy Zebarth, Crystal Abel, Brian Bangert,
Here.
Corey Byrne,
Present.
Beverly Bell,
Present.
Mark Claus,
Present.
Leah Klein, Alex Duffy,
Here.
Sean Fagan,
Here.
Buck Farley,
Here.
William John Frederick, Elizabeth Johnston.
I am here.
20 present.
Thank you. We have all members here, and we do have a quorum. Moving on to item number 5, and this is appearance by members of the public and county employees. We do have 8 public speakers who have signed up. A reminder that each speaker will have 3 minutes. With the exception of anyone representing an organization, they will be assigned 5 minutes. Per county code, we do allow for 30 minutes of public comment. And so we will begin with Mr. Thomas Clemens. If you can make your way to the podium, you will be given 3 minutes.
I'm Tom Clemens, resident of Normal for 29 and a half years. Can you understand me? I have this mask because my wife has cancer and I don't want to take something home to her. Thank you for the opportunity to speak as a private citizen. I also thank you for your resolution of October 2024 on the protection of the Mahomet Aquifer. That is why I'm here tonight, to support your efforts to protect the integrity of the aquifer. State laws, including the recent one on protection of the Mahomet Aquifer, do not interfere with the county board's authority to zone in such a way as to carry out the intent of the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act. I have read scientific reports on the nature of the aquifer and on the nature of the shifting conditions in the folds, strata, and faults of underground geology. Over time, a pollutant can seep from its intended storage area into the water of the aquifer, or a pollutant can upwell to the surface and pollute the surface water in recharge areas. That surface water trickles down and recharges the aquifer, but now with a polluting substance. But you know all this, and I know that you are as concerned as I am about maintaining clean water for generations to come. I ask as a user of the water from the Mahomet Aquifer that you use your legal authority to zone out carbon sequestration and its potential pollution from over, under, through, and near the Mahomet Aquifer and its recharge areas. As the old saying goes, if you add a teaspoon of sewage to a barrel of fine wine, all you will have is a barrel of sewage. Companies involved in carbon sequestration seek profit. Ironically, profit from tax dollars, yours and mine. They are not seeking to maintain quality of life in McLean County. They have their bank accounts and their lawyers at hand to try and push through obstacles to gain access to the profit offered by unfortunate federal legislation. The county board, on the other hand, is what I have as a citizen, as a water user, to defend my water source. I am confident that our interest in clean water is mutual and that you will work out a way to zone out carbon sequestration from the aquifer and its recharge areas. My grandchildren and yours will thank you for it.
Thank you. Next up, we have Dawn Dannenbring from the Policy Director from Illinois People's Action, and you will have 5 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Dawn Dannenbring, and as Elizabeth said, I am the Policy Director for Illinois People's Action. In 2024, the Illinois General Assembly passed a weak regulatory bill allowing carbon capture and sequestration in Illinois. The law prohibits counties from doing blanket county-wide bans. In August of this year, Governor Pritzker signed into law the Mahomet Aquifer Protection Bill. This law, written with our input, to ban sequestration over, through, and under, as you just heard from Tom, the aquifer and its recharge areas, was supported by Illinois People's Action and this county. We thank you for that support. Sadly, 11th hour negotiations removed the recharge areas. The removal had nothing to do with science or safety. It was a backroom political move. That said, that legislation does not prohibit counties from using their zoning authority to zone CO2 sequestration activities away from recharge areas. The 2024 regulatory law also does not prohibit this action. It only prohibits county-wide bans. IPA has obtained 2 legal opinions affirming the county's powers to regulate CCS activities in the manner I have described. We are providing this information to you tonight. You'll each get a folder with that. It is noteworthy that the US EPA considers recharge zones and aquifers as a unit. The EPA map of the sole source aquifer project review area outlines the aquifer borders in blue. These are the recharge areas. You'll notice they are included in the aquifer map from the EPA. This makes sense to everyone. Recharge areas feed aquifers. It makes no sense to protect the aquifer, but allow the very waters that feed it to be polluted. That would pollute the aquifer itself, and sadly, given the current state of affairs, we cannot rely on the EPA to protect us. That brings us to why we're here tonight. We're asking the county to use its legal zoning authority to pass an ordinance zoning CCS activities out of the aquifer recharge areas in our county. I must reiterate that we are not asking for a blanket ban. What we are asking for is allowed by both federal and state law. And McLean County has the legal obligation to use its zoning powers to protect the health, safety, and well-being of county residents. The county does this type of thing with all kinds of businesses. They zone strip clubs and pawn shops away from schools. They zone a number of businesses outside of residential areas. What we are asking you to do is to zone CO2 sequestration activities out of the Mahomet Aquifer and its recharge zones. This would affirm the state's aquifer ban and use your legal authority to zone dangerous businesses away from particularly sensitive areas within our county. You'll find the legal opinions in the folders we're providing with you, and we welcome the opportunity to work with you on such an ordinance that adheres to state and federal laws and also protects the health, safety, and well-being of McLean County residents. Additionally, you will find 3 new reports we have obtained from scientists who are experts in the field of carbon sequestration. One from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which make your action on protecting the recharge zones imperative. All 3 articles are new, written this year, and speak to the need to protect the aquifer and its recharge zones. One uses the Mahomet Aquifer and its recharge zones as a case study. Finally, before leaving, I would like to invite concerned citizens to please stand. We are your constituents, your neighbors, your friends, your family. We're ready to work on this, and with the leadership of Land Use Chair Leah Klein, we look forward to finishing the job that's in front of us. Thank you so very much.
If Mr. Morris is not here, number 4 is Jeff Lord.
Yes, my name is,
Here.
name is Jeff Lord. I live in Normal. I'm here to talk about real estate taxes. I'd like to talk about the real estate taxes that have risen in the past year and in comparison to the past 4 years and the past 20 years. In looking at tax bills, for the basis of this analysis, I went back to 2001 and forward, included parts of the real estate tax equation, which is the net taxable value and the tax rate, which produces the amount of real tax paid. Overall, real estate taxes increased last year 7% and 18% over the last 4 years. Of the 9 taxing entities, 3 increased greater than these overall percentages. And the 3 outliers are Heartland Community College, McLean County, and Unit 5. Now, I'm only going to look at the county portion here. So this past year, although the tax rate decreased 3.6%, the tax paid increased 8.6%. This was due to a 13% increase in the net taxable value. This is also very similar to what has occurred over the past 4 years. The tax rate has decreased over the last 4 years, but the tax paid has increased 30%, and this is due to the net taxable value increasing 34%. This increase in the net taxable value has all occurred in the past 4 years. because when you look at the increase over the last 20 years, it is virtually the same. Then in 2025, we've received our assessments, and they're increasing up over 9% for a net taxable value increase of 9.8%. Thus, to avoid a duplication of another tax increase and to adjust for the increase last year, a significant reduction in the tax rate will be needed. And another item to include are renters. While they do not pay real estate taxes directly, it is part of the monthly rent equation. When I was a bank examiner, looked at many apartment loans, and I've seen the real estate tax portion reach as high as $700 per unit per month. So thus, real estate taxes have to be part of that equation in the conversation when you're talking about affordable places to live. So thus, as the board, please keep in mind both parts of that equation when deciding on the amount of real estate taxes to be charged to property owners. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, number 5, Ms. Joyce Kay.
Please indulge me as I read from my phone what I wrote. I live in Bloomington. My name is Joyce Kay. I have been part of the fight to protect our water, our drinking water, ever since I learned that One Earth wanted to store their waste, the CO2, in the recharge area of the Mahomet Aquifer. I have a health condition that requires me to drink lots of water, and like anyone else, I want that water to be clean for me and generations to come. I want to thank the county board for the actions you've already taken to protect our water. I believe that we are almost there, and I'm here tonight asking for your leadership to help us finish the job. Sarah Nelson is on the city council in Seattle, and her statement is, that which we legislate, we don't have to negotiate. I like that statement. That which we legislate, we don't have to negotiate. Let's legislate the strongest protections we can and send the message that this county prioritizes the health, safety, and well-being of its residents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up, number 5, we have Margaret Keelan. Sorry, number 6.
Hello, Margaret Kalin, Downs, Illinois. CO2 is a product of nature that, when kept in balance, sustains plant life and helps create soil-enriching humus. CO2, when produced in great amounts over time, destroys that balance and becomes a toxic waste product that pollutes and poisons air, water, and soil, making it impossible for life on the planet to survive. Underground CO2 storage and sequestration, CCS, is supposed to be a way to stop CO2 pollution by capturing it before it gets into the air, water, and soil, and burying it under a cap rock barrier in a porous saltwater-filled rock layer a mile underground, where in 10,000 years it will solidify into carbonate rock. Instead, CCS creates mobile, toxic waste dumps, posing threats to our water in both the short and long term, above and below ground. Leaks from faulty and inadequate pipes and fittings, which have occurred at ADM in Decatur, the first and only CCS plant in operation in the country, have already repeatedly leaked CO2 into the air and underground. Above ground, CO2 molecules are heavier than air. When released into the air, their desire is to sink to the ground, landing on surface waters and soil. In lakes, rivers, streams, wetlands, CO2 combines with fresh water, creating carbonic acid. When that happens in aquifer recharge zones, the acid-laced water seeps into the aquifer, polluting it. Below ground, CO2 molecules are buoyant and all they want to do is rise to the surface by any means necessary, be it through rock fractures, crevices, abandoned well shafts. CO2 leaks from well pipes can happen at any depth from the surface, so the distance that the CO2 would travel and the time it would take to get back to the surface would vary, but it's very predictable that when it reaches the surface, the CO2 will threaten to acidify surface-level waters. When pumped to its storage level a mile deep underground, CO2 combines with salt water already stored there and forms carbonic acid, which can dissolve the very caprock that's supposed to contain it. A buoyant plume of this toxic mixture expands as more CO2 is pumped in and begins its relentless search for a path upward, eventually bringing it to the level containing the aquifer. There, it can enter the aquifer through its clay and silt protective layer and pollute its water. One Earth and dozens of other CCS companies vying for business in central Illinois plan to bury billions of metric tons of CO2 over the 30 to 50 years of their plant operations. That toxic CO2 will be actively seeking to reach the surface for 10,000 years. It's a good chance it reaches it. We can't afford to take any chances with our limited freshwater sources and must act now to create the strongest, surest safeguards to our aquifer. I urge this board to use your zoning authority to draft an ordinance prohibiting CCS storage in the recharge areas of the Mahomet Aquifer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Number 7 is Mike Kerber.
Hi, I'm Mike Kerber. I'm from Normal. Thanks for considering this whole project. Am I talking loud enough? Because I can't tell how loud I'm talking after 8
We can
months
hear
in the
you.
artillery in Vietnam. Isn't it nice we're doing something about CO2? However, the government is paying huge sums of money to sequester this CO2. And the ethanol companies care less about the environment than they do the money they're going to get. And ethanol only produces 25% more energy than the energy it takes to plant it, harvest it, dry it, transport it, process it, and what's in the corn. And why are we burning 40% of the corn we produce when there is so much hunger in the world? Without government subsidies, ethanol may not be profitable. And someday our water could be not fit to drink if it gets into our aquifer. And the ethanol plant will be long gone because we'll all be driving electric cars. So please don't let them contaminate our water to fatten their profits. Thank you.
Thank you. Last speaker we have tonight is that Marika White? I have the first name. Is Ms. White here? Thank you.
My name is Marilee White, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. A little personal story for me. I'm 84 years old, and I don't keep track of years anymore. It's too many. But anyway, about 25 years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes. I went without any medication for several years and finally was put on medication for the diabetes. And then several years later, as it got worse, the doctor doubled my dose of the medication. Things went along fine for a while, but then things began to look not very good for my kidneys. And the doctor said, we've got to cut back on your medication. So he did. And he said, I don't want to damage your kidneys with this medication. So anyway, I love sweets, so it's not very fair or very fun to be diabetic, but I am, and I dealt with it the best I could. But he said the best thing I could do was drink more water. I'm not a water drinker, or wasn't, but I am now. And I happen to live in Normal, and I guess I could buy bottled water for the rest of my life, but I don't want to do that. And I just appreciate what the board has done so far to take care of the Mahomet, and I hope to take this next step and take care of that problem. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public speakers for tonight. So we will move on to item 6, the consent agenda. May I have a motion? Motion by Duffy, second by Fagan. Comments or questions? Yes, Member Hanson.
I would like to recuse myself from item 6E5A as it pertains to my workplace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other comments or questions regarding the consent agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of item 6, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. With that, we do have I'm aware of that. With that, we do have one approval of a resolution and congratulations and commendations, and I'm going to ask Member Reeves to, if we have Mr. Whitehouse's family here, if they've joined us, if they could join us, him at the podium. We appreciate you being with us here tonight.
Hello, my name is Patrick Hoban. I'm the CEO of the Bloomington Normal Economic Development Council. Ryan Whitehouse was our chair, and he was also a good friend of mine. I met Ryan when I came to town about 6 years ago. We found out we had a lot in common, which was easy due to our direct form of communication that we both carried. Whenever I left town for travel, I would give Ryan's number to my girls and tell them that if they needed anything, you call Ryan. Ryan became our go-to. After a while, I started to notice that Ryan was a lot of people's go-to, from local mayors to U.S. congressmen. Ryan was one of one, a fiscal conservative with a passion for transit mobility, a private person who never met a stranger, a dominant communicator who always found equitable compromise. Bloomington Normal McLean County will never understand or appreciate how much he gave and shaped the future of our community through the EDC, Connect Transit, and St. Jude. Ryan was good people. I want his family, especially his mom, Michelle, to know that we are all better human beings for knowing Ryan.
My name is Julie Heil, and I am here representing Connect Transit. I appreciate the invitation to offer a few remarks to this remembrance of our friend Ryan Whitehouse today. Ryan joined the Connect Transit Board as a 32-year-old in 2012. He was elected board chair in April of 2020 and served in that capacity for 5.5 lively years. Ryan loved a purposeful start on time, end on time meeting. He listened intently with great devotion to public comment, reports from our general manager and staff, and to trustees. Over the years, he built a habit of making sure all others had their say before we did as vice chair and chair. He asked hard questions, especially and appropriately, about our financials and timelines, insisted that the work be done on schedule, on budget, well. Ryan educated our state and federal representatives about public transit, built relationships and advocacy with those electeds that helped secure real money for this system and our communities. He pushed and pushed and pushed on the downtown Bloomington Transit Center. Did I say he pushed on the downtown Bloomington Transit Center? It's gratifying today to see substantial forward movement on that project, and we thank the city of Bloomington for the partnership. The system we created under Ryan's chairmanship was stable and strong, such that last summer, when this county board asked to partner on the substantial regional expansion that we're calling Connect Go, door-to-door transportation for McLean County residents living outside Bloomington, Normal, and Towanda, we were quickly ready to, well, go. All of this quite the legacy. We're grateful. We will continue to hold a thought for Ryan, Michelle, his family, continue to strive for public transit excellence. We miss him.
So I remember the first night I met Ryan. A friend of ours invited me down to the pub of all places. This was 20 years ago. And there was a group of guys sitting there, and I didn't know any of them except for the guy that invited me. And over the years, it's got to be a great group of guys. And as I got involved in politics and other things, I would reach out to Ryan. And he would answer questions that I didn't necessarily understand, or I didn't understand how things were going down. And he was always willing to take my call, meet for a drink, dinner, and that was a great attribute of Ryan to shed some light on things I didn't have any clarity about. There's nothing that I can say that that hasn't already been said before. He's a great guy. And I challenge all of you, Ryan lived a life worth living. Are you doing that? So I'd like to read the proclamation. And this is for you. McLean County Board Proclamation recognizing Ryan Whitehouse. Whereas Ryan Whitehouse provided advocacy, community service, and leadership through his professional and volunteer roles in McLean County. Whereas Ryan Whitehouse held several roles in the public policy and political engagement in our community. He served as Government and Political Affairs Director for McLean County Chamber of Commerce from 2007 to 2013. He worked for the Illinois Farm Bureau from 2013 to 2025, with roles in local and national government, including his final role as Director of National Legislation. Whereas Ryan Whitehouse efforts on behalf of farmers included the establishment of the Allies and Agricultural Program to grow relationships between farmers and county governments throughout the state. He was instrumental in developing relationships with Illinois congressional delegation and staff to advocate for agriculture. And I have the pin I present you with for that program. Whereas Ryan Whitehouse served as the chair of Connect Transit Board of Directors and as an advocate for public transit, his efforts helped secure more than $75 million in federal and state grants since 2017, including funding for the downtown Bloomington Transfer Center. He championed accessibility, bus stops for people with disabilities, expanded service for underserved populations, and free bus service for active duty military members. Whereas Ryan Whitehouse served as the chair of the Bloomington Normal Economic Development Council and participated in the annual One Voice trips to Washington, D.C. to advocate for federal funding and local projects. His relentless advocacy for rural agricultural inclusion and economic development initiatives led to the creation of the Rural Fellow Initiative. Whereas Ryan Whitehouse served as the chair of the McLean County St. Jude Run and Walk Committee as a member of the Board of American Lebanese and Syrian Associated Charities, the funding organization for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. He continued the legacy of giving to others after death by being a gift of life donor. Now therefore be it resolved that this McLean County Board and the citizens of McLean County extend a heartfelt thank you to Ryan Whitehouse for his legacy and leadership and immeasurable service to our community. Be it further resolved that McLean County Board hereby directs the county clerk to prepare a certified copy of this resolution to be presented to the family of Ryan Whitehouse. And our deepest condolences for his untimely passing.
Thank you so much. He loved all this.
Thank you, Member Reeves, for the heartwarming tribute to Ryan Whitehouse. He was quite the fellow, and we are a little sadder without him today. We will move on to item 7, our standing committees, and I will turn it over for Executive Committee to Vice Chair Rogel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Executive Committee has 5 items tonight for action. The first one up is 7A1A, which is request approval of the fiscal year 2026 budget as recommended by the Executive Committee, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Hanson. Comments or questions? Member Klaus.
Yeah, just a couple comments on the budget. I know we had one gentleman spoke, earlier about the taxes, and it won't get fixed overnight, but I think collectively we all had a lot of, it's a budget's a hard process, right? But it's also about trade-offs, and we've just got to do better to try to figure out how we can be a little smarter and squeeze a little more out. It's too easy to just keep raising, and property values have been going up, so we know that. And nobody cares if the tax rate goes down. They focus on how much they're paying. So, people are concerned, and we've got to just do better at it. We won't fix it all one year, but we've got to just keep making incremental improvements. So I think that's the challenge for next year. This is my first year, so been trying to figure out the whole process, and I think we're starting to have some conversations, but it's going to be a challenge that we need to all collectively work on. So,
Any other comments or questions? What I would say is that the staff worked very hard this year. Looking at the average, I know that we had one public speaker, but the average increase in prices for the EAV over the last year were 7.5%. I understand that you don't want to look at that, but we did decrease the levy by 5.2%. What that means in the total dollar value was that on a $49 million budget, we went up $750,000, which is about 1.5%. Looking at a 12-year rate of inflation, we were at 3%. So I would say I would like to applaud the staff for their excellent work in creating a budget that is well within reason, given the inflationary pressures that we all face. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A1A, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to you, Vice Chair Rogel.
Thank you again. Next up is 7A1B, which is request for approval and adoption of the fiscal year 2026 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the 5-year capital improvement plan, and authorize the chairman and the county clerk to sign. This requires a roll call vote, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Farley. Comments or questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Eric Hansen,
Yes.
Val Lehman,
Yes.
Brian Leffler, Mike O'Neill, Adam Reeves, Jim Rogel,
Yes.
Natalie Roseman Mendoza,
Yes.
Jeff Tompkins, Andy Zebarth, Crystal Label, Brian Bangert,
Yes.
Corey Byrne,
Yes.
Beverly Bell,
Yes.
Mark Claus, Leah Klein,
Yes.
Alex Duffy, Sean Fagan,
Yes.
Buck Farley,
Aye.
William John Frederick, Elizabeth Johnston,
Yes.
20.
So I have 24 and 0 against. That passes. Back to you, Vice Chair Rogel.
Next up, we have 7A1C, which is request for approval and adoption of the fiscal year 2026 full-time equivalent positions resolution, and authorize the chair and the county clerk to sign, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Klein. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A1C, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next up, we have 7A1D, which is request approval and adoption of the 2025 tax levy ordinance for McLean County, and authorize the chair and the county clerk to sign. This requires a roll call vote, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Hanson. Comments or questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you'll call the roll for item 7A1D.
Eric Hansen,
Yes.
Val Lehman,
Yes.
Brian Leffler, Mike O'Neill, Adam Reeves, Jim Rogal,
Yes.
Natalie Roseman Mendoza,
Yes.
Jeff Tompkins, Andy Zebarth, Crystal Abel, Brian Bangert,
Yes.
Corey Byrne, Beverly Bell,
Yes.
Mark Claus, Leah Klein,
Yes.
Alex Duffy, Sean Fagan,
Yes.
Buck Farley,
Aye.
William John Frederick, Elizabeth Johnston,
Yes.
20.
We have 20 ayes and 0 nays, so that item passes. Last item for you, Vice Chair Rogel.
Last item under executive. 7A1E, request county board authorization to have the county administrator publish fiscal year 2026 adopted budget appropriation ordinance and the 2025 tax levy ordinance, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Lehman. Comments or questions? Seeing none. All in favor of item 7A1E, say aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Vice Chair Rogel?
We have no other items for action under the executive committee. Our general report can be found on pages 28 to 38 of the unapproved minutes. I can answer any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you so much. We'll move on to item 7B, and that is Finance Committee with Member Lehman.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The Finance Committee has 2 items to be presented for action this evening. Item 7B1A is the request approval of a second McLean County Animal Control Shelter Project and intergovernmental agreement, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Klein. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7B1A, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to you, Member Lehman.
Thanks again, Madam Chair. Item 7B1B is the request approval of an ordinance by the McLean County Board amending the McLean County Code, Chapter 108, Article 4, Holidays and Leaves of Absence, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Byrne. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7B1B, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Member Lehman?
Thank you yet again. The Finance Committee has no other items for action. However, regarding information, our general report can be found on pages 18 to 23 of the unapproved minutes packet, and I'm happy to entertain any additional questions the committee has.
Thank you. So we'll move on. Item 7C, Health Committee. Member Byrne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Health Committee brings no items for action today, but it has been a busy month nevertheless. On the business side, there were routine action items in Health Committee, including a few contract renewals and check-ins with department heads about unexpected minor challenges that have had minimal effect on business as usual. Unfortunately, some of our departments continue to be affected by the poor performance of the county auditor, costing taxpayers money and taking up staff time. This situation continues to negatively affect wide range of departments, and I encourage the auditor to rectify this situation as soon as possible. The McLean County Health Department shared some statistics about its mobile health unit. Stops were increased over the previous year, visiting Anchor, Aerosmith, Carlock, Colfax, Ellsworth, Hudson, and Towanda, offering height, weight, and BMI measurements, A1C blood tests for individuals with diabetes, and information and training on topics ranging from health care, heart health, to car seat installation training. The jail medical staff continues to provide excellent care to our residents, as does the Juvenile Detention Center. The McLean County Nursing Home is fortunate to have its construction project continue on schedule with minimal disruption. In addition, at Health Committee, we were pleased to welcome guests from the Chestnut Health Systems and Birth to 5 Illinois Region 17 and learn how they serve our community. Chestnut is a vital community partner that offers mental health treatment and resources, substance abuse prevention and treatment services, and just recently began offering dental services. Of particular pride is the McLean County's Drug and Recovery Court System, an alternative court system run by Chestnut for those addressing substance abuse issues. I was surprised to learn that 86% of Chestnut's clients are below the poverty line. They accept all insurance policies and sliding scales for those without. Chestnut is also a recent recipient of a BHCC grant funded by the shared sales tax, and we are very grateful to Chestnut for their vital service to our community. Health Committee was also pleased to welcome Birth to 5 Illinois, an organization that supports families with young children. Their approach is to center the family and their needs and work with them to find solutions to practical needs. Early childhood education and support is something very important in the development of children in every respect: physical, social, emotional, and cognitive. I see these effects every day in my elementary classrooms. Gaps in these needs in the preschool age years can affect children throughout their childhood and well into adulthood. Birth to 5 addresses these needs by centering families in the process and focusing on building that network between families and their care and education providers. An example was raised about a child enrolled in school, but only attends for a half day, which is generally only a couple hours at best, rarely lining up with a typical lunch hour. If that child's parent has a job that won't allow them to pick them up, Birth to 5 helps find transportation solutions. Board of Health met last night and discussed potential cost-effective improvements and additional offerings to the Health Department's mobile health unit, plans to support the upcoming World AIDS Day on December 1st, including an acknowledgement of the 40th anniversary of the first AIDS-related death of a McLean County resident. With recent lapses in federal funding and SNAP benefits, the board acknowledged a rise in local participants in the Women, Infants, and Children program. And although the program does work together to help families afford food with the SNAP program, they are not the same program. Illinois' WIC program is fully funded through the end of the month, and benefits are still available. I'd like to again commend our public health professionals and their proactive, data-based approach to keeping our county healthy. Our public health partners continue to benefit from support from local government in the form of grants to the Behavioral Health Coordinating Council, using funds from the shared sales tax and other sources. Thank you and support to those partners. We look forward to continuing to meet our community's needs.
Thank you, Member Byrne, for the detailed report and giving us lots of information about what's happening in our community. Wonderful things happening. All right, moving on, item 7D, back to Vice Chair Rogal for Justice Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Justice Committee has 2 items to be presented for action tonight. 7D1A is the first one. It's request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2025 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 0156, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Duffy. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1A, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to you, Vice Chair Rogal.
Next up, we have 7D1B, which is request approval of an ordinance by the McLean County Board amending Chapter 205 Fees, Article 6, Use of County Morgue in the McLean County Code, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Reeves. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1B, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to you.
The Justice Committee has no other items for action tonight. Our general report can be found on pages 14 through 17 of the unapproved minutes, and I can answer any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you so much. Moving on to item 7E, Property Committee, Member Abel.
Thank you very much. The Property Committee has no items to be presented for action tonight. Our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes packet, and tonight is my last meeting of the county board, so I just wanted to say that it has been my honor to serve as chair of the Property Committee, and I thank the members of that committee for your support and your hard work in approving all the various projects that are going on right now. I'm particularly excited about the Fairview building, which everyone approved the design firm for that, and I especially want to thank all of the staff as well as Vice Chair Lehman, who has been a phenomenal support on that committee and helping to educate me on the various projects and roles that we have to play within that committee. And it has been my honor to serve with all of you on the county board. Even the new members who I haven't particularly gotten a chance to know that well yet, but for those that I have served with for the last 3 years, it has been my pleasure to work with all of you, and I thank you for all of the advice and the support and the mentorship that you've all been able to provide to me as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Abel. We'll move on to item 7F, Land Use and Transportation Committee, Member Klein.
Thank you, Chairperson Johnston. The Land Use and Transportation Committee has no items to be presented for action today. Everything that we did was in the consent agenda, and I would just sort of like to mark for the record that we did pass our first battery electric storage proposal today, which is a big step forward in our county's ability to maximize the energy output for the wind and solar projects that we already have instead of building new ones. And congratulations to our labor partners for that as well. And I would just sort of like to say, although they're all gone mostly, but to thank the citizens who came out this evening expressing their concerns about carbon sequestration, and to thank in advance the Assistant State's Attorney Don Rood, who will be helping us a lot to navigate these regulatory waters. Pun intended, as we go forward. And I would just like to say, if you are new to the board and weren't here for all of the fun around sequestration projects that occurred a year and a half or so ago, I'm happy to give you some information. But I would say that our very first anticipated hearing from the federal EPA will not be until the end of March, so we do have a little bit of time to get our act together should there be anything else we want or can legally do. So thank you.
Any questions for Member Klein? I encourage you to take her up on that offer to learn more about some of the history and the background as we plow forward into exploring what else we might be able to do. So moving on, item 7G, County Administrator, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no items to be presented this evening.
Thank you so much. So moving on to other business, I have a laundry list of things to run through tonight. First, I would like to start with the resignation notice. Member Abel already mentioned, but she did provide me a notice of her resignation, which is effective the end of the day tomorrow, Friday the 14th, November the 14th, 2025. Therefore, I am announcing the vacancy of a seat at the county board for a member to represent District 4. Pursuant to the McLean County Code, Section 20-10H, I am fixing the date upon which the appointment will be made to fill the vacancy as of Thursday, December 11th, 2025. Also pursuant to the McLean County Code, written applications and resumes of those seeking appointment must be submitted to the County Administrator's Office by 4 p.m. on Monday, December 1st, 2025. Applications must be signed by the applicant. All eligible applicants will be interviewed by the Executive Committee at its regularly scheduled meeting set to begin at 4 p.m. on Monday, December the 8th. I do want to take some time. One of the shifts that we've made, really starting with the resignation of Member Metzger, she had requested not to have a plaque, and we had a discussion, a pretty robust discussion in administration that most plaques gather dust, and so we've made the choice not to do plaques, and I hope that you'll forgive us for that, Member Abel. But we do want to recognize your service on the board for your years as a McLean County board member from December 5th, 2022 to November 14th, 2025. Including service as the chair of the Property Committee, vice chair of the Legislative Subcommittee, and as a member of the Executive, Land Use and Development, Transportation and Land Use and Transportation Committees. On behalf of the citizens of McLean County, the McLean County Board expresses its appreciation and gratitude for your dedicated service to improving the quality of life for all McLean County citizens as of this 13th day of November 2025. So thank you for your service. Next up, I wanted to give an update for the Behavioral Health Forum that we had last week. This was the 8th annual, so I have a report from Ms. Harrell, who actually put the Behavioral Health Forum together as part of our Behavioral Health Coordination team. The 8th Annual Behavioral Health Forum was held by the Behavioral Health Coordination Department on November 6, 2025. Between presenters, resource fair, and attendees, the forum hosted 322 participants and had over 54 local organizations represented. The resource fair featured 32 organizations, each offering valuable tools, programs, and partnerships that strengthen the fabric of our behavioral health network. We hosted 16 breakout sessions exploring timely and courageous topics such as mental health versus AI, suicide prevention, self-regulation, ending permanent punishment, and addressing burnout. A highlight of the day featured the Unhoused Services panel featuring Home Sweet Home Ministries, MCCA, PATH, and Project Oz. Attendees heard firsthand how collaboration drives meaningful community change. We also received an update from the BHCC on the new Behavioral Health Action Plan, and this plan offers a clear path forward for the continued system-wide mental and behavioral health improvements. Beyond the numbers and logistics, the forum is such an impactful event because of the connection it creates. From the start of planning, the forum reminds us that change does not happen in isolation. It happens when we come together, listen, and commit to shared progress. Our theme, Anchored in Connection, is a reminder that we live in a time where connection feels both easier and harder than ever. It demands humility and courage. When we connect, we invite more voices into the conversation. Those voices could challenge our assumptions and provide a new perspective. If we choose isolation because connection feels too heavy or hard, we risk leaving people behind. The stakes are high. Human lives, families, and futures depend on our willingness to learn and stay connected. The good news is that events like the forum show us that we are not alone in this work. The 322 people who showed up to represent a network of professionals and community members who believe in doing better together. The forum stands as proof that connection is not just a theme, but a choice, a practice, and the foundation of healing and progress. The response to the 2025 forum is extraordinary and more positive than we could have hoped for. Participants are already reaching out about the next event. So anyone interested in getting involved with the forum can contact Samantha Harrell, the Assistant Director of the Behavioral Health Coordination, and she is incredibly grateful for all of the presenters, sponsors, support as we are dedicated to benefiting our community. The next two I want to update are really related to kind of cold weather, timely updates. The COVID and flu season is upon us. We have been affected. We have lost people in the community already due to COVID this year. We do know that shots are available to all Illinoisans for updates based on the diagnosis of diabetes, obesity, asthma, and sedentary lifestyle. So if you are so inclined, please seek out your flu and COVID shots for your own protection. The next item is fire safety. We have already seen the first victims in McLean County from a house fire. Last night I attended the Red Cross event, and one of the programs they were promoting is a program called Sound the Alarm. It was a program I was not familiar with, but it does offer free home fire safety visits from the Red Cross. And if you are in need and meet their qualifications, they also install free smoke alarms in your home. And you can find that at redcross.org/soundthealarm. The next step thing we want to talk about, we do have Veterans Treatment Court. I know that Member Byrne talked about the recovery court that we have. Veterans Treatment Court has been a hallmark and a very bright spot in our community and our justice system. And we have 5 upcoming graduations that will occur between now and the next county board meeting. And those will be spread over 2 different court dates. So if you are so inclined, if you've not been to Veterans Treatment Court, I would encourage you to go and see the work that is being done. So we have 3 people graduating on November the 25th at 3 p.m. And we have 2 people graduating on December the 2nd, also at 3 p.m. Both of those graduations will be held in courtroom 4B. And then the last item that I have is just a reminder that we do have cuddly animals that are open for adoption. Mr. Leary is kindly posting up some of the pictures that we have. As we're moving into the season, these animals are looking for their forever homes. So if you are in need of a furry friend, please reach out to our McLean County Animal Services. Are there any other words for the good of the county from the board members? Seeing none, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you for your service.